I know you missed us, kids. You missed us.
I missed me too.
I know you
And
missed
you.
us. And you. Here it is. It is I'ma Let You Finish on the Pantheon Podcast Network. Believe it or not, this is show number 199. We're almost 200 shows, 5 years in. Here we are, kids.
Like, I don't even want to give a metaphor and analogy, but for those of you listening out there who are sending the youngins to school today and tomorrow, yay, get them out of the house, let them go learn something. And a happy fall, and it's nice out. It's not 100 degrees, and
Can someone send the toddler who lives downstairs from me to school? Because that baby has been crying for a full year, and that baby has not stopped. All hours of the day and night, to the point where, and I love babies. I do. I love babies. But this baby, who is loud and screams to the top of her lungs, 24/7, I'm just like, okay, Parrish, y'all need to be dropping off muffin baskets to all of us because we're all up with you. We're all up with you.
Anyway. So, I don't know if you heard this because it was a very small news item. It really, it barely made the press. I mean, I just saw it. All right. And I hope anybody listening, I hope, that you come to us for an important breaking news from things that you may not see every place. So, I heard someplace, maybe, I don't know if it's true, Oasis is getting back together. Is this true?
Supposedly.
Okay, so now I think it's great. Now, after many, many years, Oasis meaning Noel and Liam. There are other members of the band. I think there's only one, unless you're a diehard fan, and I am a fan, but I can only name one other member of the band, to be honest with you, and he may be part of that. But the thing is, this is one of the great, storied, legendary two brothers who hate each other bands of all time. And there's lots of bands where the brothers hate each other too. I mean, Ray and Dave Davies, and most band members don't get along with each other. We could just start there, okay? But anyway, after many, many years and many, many offers, allegedly, Noel has denied that they were offered £100 million years ago. They're going to do several, a lot of dates in England, in their native, because they're Irish, so they're going to do Ireland, Scotland, and it's every week more dates are added. So it is sold out.
Outside of Europe, they are evidently going. It's a world tour, so they have not announced outside of the UK yet, but those dates are supposedly coming at some point.
They are supposedly coming. Little hints were dropped along the way that this might be happening. It's what's really interesting. Now, I am an Oasis fan. I think that's no big secret, though I will not even pretend to tell you that I've listened to every one of their records. The first two records, to me, if they had done nothing else but those first two records, they warrant their... oh, look, balloons are going up because I said that. They've done nothing else. If they had done nothing else but that first record, to me, they warrant their status. So I have not listened to all of the Oasis records. I think there's 5. I have not listened to Liam's solo records, which sell very well throughout the world, and he sells out in the United States as well. I have not listened to Noel's High Flying Birds. I've seen bits, and they do Oasis songs when they perform solo. I mean, Liam does Oasis songs, and Noel obviously wrote the song, so he does Oasis songs.
Who's the singer? Did they both sing?
Liam is the lead. Liam is the singer. Liam is the lead singer. Noel does backup vocals.
Got it.
Noel does vocals on Don't Look Back in Anger, but pretty much everything else is Liam. And Liam is the focal point of the group because he's the front man. The point being, this has set off the reaction in the United States versus the reaction in the UK. Let's face it, Oasis was very popular here, but they were a behemoth in the UK. I mean, they were massive. I think they're the biggest selling British band of all time, or certainly in recent history. They're associated with politics, culture, fashion. Here they're just a really good indie rock band. That's how people viewed them here. And I've seen them perform, and they were great. You know, one of their first New York gigs was at Wetlands. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow. I used to love Wetlands.
Me too. But can you imagine Oasis performing in front of that Volkswagen bus?
Kind of, sort of, yes.
Well, they were like an indie rock band, considered that until until the album broke and then they became this massive world. Anyway, the point being, they're one of those bands, and I'm saying this honestly, because I think I can be pretty fair about judging things. I really do think I'm fair, and I can see the fault. I do not, for the life of me, understand the vitriol that this group invokes in people. We have people on our page who hate them, and I honestly, I do not understand it, because whatever you think of them as people, some of those songs are really great. Live Forever even people who hate Oasis say Live Forever is a great song. So I'm just confused as to why this is bringing up some vitriol. I mean, why do you think? I
think it's the personalities of the brothers. I think it's some of the things that have come out of their mouths. So you know what I mean? And that gets under certain people's craw. And then, there are certain bands that it's cool to hate, right? So people just jump on that. Yeah, I hate them. Sort of train.
I think in England, the personality stuff and the politics stuff, I kind of equate it. I'm not excusing anything that Noel and Liam have said, but I will say this: they were in their 20s and they were drug addicts. They are no longer in their 20s and they're no longer drunks and drug addicts. So I'm not saying that gives you a license to say stupid stuff. I will say this: that they are not. It's not their fault that Tony Blair got elected. It's not they were anti-Brexit. They can't control their fans. It's sort of the equivalent, like, I would imagine, like, Springsteen fans, right? We associate Springsteen fans with sort of like bridge and tunnel firemen, like off-duty cops, firemen, Staten Island, Jersey, Bruce, right? In the UK, that's not the case. They just see him as being a rock performer. So we don't have that association, right? We don't care about the Liam Mancurian walk, his funny walk, and the clothes. I don't know. I find them hilarious as people. I think they're both really, really funny. Were they assholes? Definitely. But I think the music. Here's my question, though. These were songs. If you read interviews or listen to interviews with Noel Gallagher, he talks about how Oasis was. I actually posted one of them, was a band for the people of its time. They were the same age as their audience, right? They were council estate kids. How's that going to translate now when you're a 50-something-year-old multi-millionaire singing Live Forever, right? Is it going to be like the Stones singing Under My... You know what I mean? Like, is it going to translate when you're so much of that part of that culture?
Well, yeah, because now it's nostalgia for people. And so they want to hear those songs, and it brings people back to a time. It's like all of these acts that were huge and have come back and they do these tours. I think the fans who go see them, it brings them back to a time. You know what I mean? You're not thinking, oh, it's ironic with you singing this now. It just feels like, I used to love the song. I remember how much when this song came out, where I was in life and all of those things and how it made me feel. And those feelings just come back up again.
And there's a lot of new, Liam Gallagher, a lot through social, but certainly, they are just, it's so funny. I joked around about, like, when the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I was going to vote my heart and not my head. I don't think, people who listen to this show realize how massive they were. People go on about Britpop. Nobody got pissed off when Blur got back together. Nobody got pissed off when Pulp got back together. And they were really great bands. But everybody is losing their collective shit over this. When it's the front page of the Times, by the way, thank you, New York Times, for resurrecting my quote. My review of Oasis, I would like to go on record being I am the only human being in the world who could review Definitely Maybe and forget to mention Live Forever. Hello, the most anthemic. So I apologize for that. I don't know. I think it's going to be really, I think that they will pull these dates off. First off, the cynical part of it is Noel Gallagher just recently got divorced, and it's allegedly a £20 million divorce. So he has...
That's a really good reason to be like...
That's a really good reason,
we need to go on tour.
And Liam has many children, and, and for people to say, oh, it's a money grab. I'm sorry, aren't all tours a money grab?
especially reunion tours. It's like, hi, fun fact. When the band that hasn't been together in 5 gazillion years decides suddenly out of the blue, we're going to have a reunion and do arenas and stadiums. Fun fact. It's a money grab. Somebody has said these days money. Are going to either you need, and it might not even be like you need money. Sometimes it is very hard to ignore that kind of money. That can be like, you know what? This can kind of refill the bank accounts going on this tour.
Exactly. And it's their job. Of course, it's a money grab.
Ask when 4 Spice Girls go on an arena, on a stadium tour in the UK, 4, not 5, it is because they were like, cha-ching, cash.
Right. When the Fugees allegedly try to do dates when one of them is facing massive legal bills and may go to prison, gee, I wonder why they're getting back together, because they love each other so much, because we know they don't love each other so much. Come on. And I just do think it's very funny for people to have that thing. And the other thing is, and this is not to be all kumbaya, the economy, this is a good thing. When somebody is going to come into your town, into your city, and pump a tremendous, I mean, they call it the Taylor Swift economy, right? Every city she goes to. Why are people complaining that people are going to be making, businesses are going to be making money? Ticketmaster, of course, has already fucked this up because that's what they do.
I mean, once again...
I didn't know they were international, by the way.
Yes,
I thought it was just all right, so they're internationally screwing things up.
Just once again, people are like, I'm in a queue that says I have 500,000 people in front of me. Then I get close and suddenly they're like, you're a bot, and kick you off the line.
Oh, I know. A friend of mine was in the queue. He was doing it just, he said, for the endorphin rush of watching like each thing. He was actually going to be in Edinburgh at the time for its fringes there. But he said... And I said, oh, can I be your plus one? And he goes, he would just watch it going, I'm closer, I'm closer, I'm closer. And then they would go, oops, we're starting all over again. It's like, so, I mean, complaining, I mean, I don't know. It just seems so reductive to like, they're making money. Oh, let the people live. Let people enjoy this.
Everybody who goes on the road is going on the road to make money. You want to perform for your fans.
Or get away from your kids.
But you want to make money. That's the whole, touring, listen, everybody has a job. No one goes to work for free. So I'm never going to begrudge somebody for going out there. And clearly, by the rush of over 1 million people who tried to get on Ticketmaster at the same time, there's an appetite for them, and people really want to see it. Do you think if they announce U.S. dates, it will be the same energy here?
Yes.
You do? You think so?
Yes, because they've sold out, because... Where
did they play when they were playing? When they got big, were they like at the Garden? They were the Garden?
They were at the Garden.
Multiple nights?
I think so. I saw them at the Academy. So they did Wetland. They would do CMJ shows. They were like around during CMJ, College Music.
Oh my God, do you remember CMJ?
Yeah.
I've not heard CMJ. Oh my God,
there
you just
go.
really kicked me back.
Yeah. They were one of those CMJ groups.
Right.
Then I saw them at the Academy when I guess it was when What's the Story Morning Gloria dropped. So they were, Academy was what was that, like a 2,000 seat, 1,500 seat?
Yeah.
Wasn't big. And then they were playing the Garden. And they will sell out the Garden. So if they play like LA, New York, supposedly Toronto.
First of all, I didn't know they've had 8 tours. I'm looking at it right now. I had no idea that they had 8 tours. Okay, so definitely maybe, let's see, what did they do? Did they do the U.S.?
Yeah, they did. That was Wetlands.
Yeah, they did. Okay. That was in New York.
They played Maxwell's.
That was Maxwell's in Hoboken on the 28th of October, 94. And the 29th, they did Wetlands. Absolutely. Okay.
Which my then loser boyfriend was supposed to take me to. I just want to go on record of saying that. Well, he wasn't really my boyfriend. But the point is that...
But he was a loser.
He was a loser. He was supposed to tell me. And I forgot, and it was like Halloween. They were playing Halloween. Anyway, yes, I think.
And then so then with What's the Story, which was in the What's the Story tour in '96 in March, they played the Paramount Theater
in the city.
And so that's
I saw him at the Academy, so it must have been right in between at some point.
Okay, and then there's the Be Here Now tour.
Yeah, That's the year after, 2 years after, in '90. I know way too much about this band.
You absolutely do. And then they played Jersey at the Continental Arena.
Listen, they'll sell out. They will sell out because for
I
no
think
other
seeing
reason.
This, they'll sell out. They'll absolutely
sell out, and it's also the hype. It's going to be like the middle-aged white person's version of the Eras tour. You're going to want to be there because who knows? White man, middle-aged Brit, and if it implodes, it implodes. But I think it's good. Like I said, they just engender so much hatred. You know what I always loved about Oasis, and it's funny, and then we'll move on because I could literally talk. But what I always loved about Oasis is that at a time when you had all these American bands, and this is between England and America too, all these American bands being like, oh no, I don't want to be a star. Oh no, I'm going to wear all my my worst clothing on stage and be a star, and I'm not be a star, and I'm tortured.
You know what? I'm looking. They've never played Madison Square Garden. When they got bigger,
I know people saw them. Maybe they meant the Paramount.
Hold on. I'm looking at all of these shows. They did Paramount, which was that theater in the Garden that's been changed. They've never played the actual main room. And then when they came back and they got bigger, and I'm looking at these subsequent tours, they played Radio City Music Hall.
All right. I think they could play the Garden this time.
No, now at this point, absolutely, it would be Radio City. It would be Madison Square Garden for multiple nights. There's no way they could come here and just play
not do it
like a smaller room anymore. And then they played Roseland and the Beacon.
Yeah. Well, what I was I thought they played Garden. Someone told me they saw them at the Garden, but they were obviously lying. Maybe they meant
they probably thought when they said the Garden, they said the Paramount. Yeah.
But what I love about them, and then is that they, you know what? Okay, if Liam Gallagher were my dentist, I would be very concerned. Mm-hmm. Right? If Noel Gallagher were my accountant, I would be very concerned. But I loved the fact that at that point they embraced being a rock star at a time when American acts were like Eddie Vedder and Tortured and oh my God. It's like, I'm sorry, you're incredibly cute. They were cute, those Gallagher brothers. You're cute, you're cocky, you're in a band, for Christ's sakes. This is exactly how you're supposed to be acting. Yeah. Taking all the stupid homophobe. I don't approve of any of that stuff. But so it just made it so funny to me that they weren't, they were just being larger than life. And I love the fact that they were ridiculously overconfident. And this whole thing that they're derivative, where if you're going to be, who isn't derivative, number one? Number two, if you're going to derive, then steal from the Beatles. That makes sense, right? I mean,
you know what's interesting? Even at their biggest, they were huge. I just never paid attention to them, ever. And I think I probably
worked in worked in college radio, which is fascinating.
I would program them for the rock shows, because I knew that that was a moment, and let the DJs play what they wanted. And also, I worked at Sony, and they were on Epic. Yeah. You know what I mean? They were on Epic, and I knew that they were kind of a big deal, but it just never.
Well, it's not just a white thing either, because I have a lot of black friends.
Yeah, it's not just a white thing. Yeah. They just weren't an act that I love a lot. A lot of rock acts and stuff just didn't.
They either registered or they didn't. I don't know why they registered.
They still don't register with me.
I am a hook girl. I enjoy a hook because I have a limited capacity for understanding things. I need things. If you're ripping off somebody else, that makes it easier for me because I don't have the time to think of new concepts of music. I like a hook. I like a little bit of attitude. They were really, really cute. I think I like that one song. What's the one, baby? Wonderwall. The one, yeah.
Then I hear that and I'm like, okay, something, whatever that is.
And I also, one more thing. All these people are like saying, oh, they didn't have any swing, they were undanceable. Listen to that first record. They were coming out of that whole Manchester dance in Spiral Car, but Stone. They were coming out of that whole scene. There's a lot of swing in those early records. Druggy. I don't know. I love them. We'll see. I'm not even going to bother to try to get tickets because I've seen them and that's fine. And let the kids. I mean, there's not going to be any tickets to get. I'd have to give a kidney and nobody wants.
I know. Like now, trying to get a ticket to anything is like anything. It feels like an active fighting sport to try to get a ticket to anything.
You have to beg, and then you feel embarrassed, and you're like, all right, it's not even worth it. Now, the other reunion everybody wants to see is Johnny Marr and the Smiths, and that's not happening because Johnny Marr is just basically, well, first off, one of the members of the band is deceased, so It would never be the original band. Johnny Marr has just basically said, waiter, check, please.
I mean, Johnny Marr is someplace. Morrissey's like, I've agreed to a Smiths reunion, but Johnny Marr won't answer. Johnny Marr is someplace like, can I have another cappuccino, please? Thank you so much. Well,
Johnny, yeah.
He's like, I'm not even dealing with that man. I refuse to deal with him. And you know what? As much as, first of all, you know this about me, and I think I've said this. And you
know this about me.
I've said this a million times.
And I've agreed with you a million times.
I do not understand the Smiths, and I know people that fucking love them.
Me too.
I mean,
we know the same people who love them.
I'm just kind of like, I have never gotten everyone's fascination with this band. Me neither. And you know what? I like shit that people don't like, but they really fucking love them. And I don't get it. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, I have gotten it as I've gotten older, but the one thing I didn't love about them was Morrissey. And Johnny Marr is a phenomenal guitar player. He is supposed to be the nicest guy. He gave Noel Gallagher his first guitar. He's supposed to be the nicest guy in Nicetown. And why would you want to go on the road with a miserable Nigel Farage, Trump-loving, homophobic, racist twat like Morrissey? Let Morrissey have his solo career. He does perfectly well. And be done with it. You know,
especially with the shit that Morrissey pulls, right? Some nights it's like, are you coming on stage? Are you not? Are you leaving the stage in the middle of the show? Like, what are you doing?
But he's also, if you saw, Johnny Marr has posted pictures of Nigel Farage when people ask him about Morrissey. So I think I think that's sort of, I don't think any of them.
That's kind of like putting it, that's
there. I mean, I don't think Johnny Marr is hurting for cash. No. You know, I don't think either one of them are hurting for cash. And I think Morrissey is such a toxic brand at this, to be really honest with you. I mean, because of his politics and because whatever. Yeah, I know people who are absolutely obsessed with them.
And the fact that Johnny Marr's played on so many Pet Shop Boys records makes him
and
like
Bryan
the
Ferry records, everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the things that caused him to break up, because Morrissey was like, why are you going on all these other groups? And he's like, because I want to, and they're really good music, and why do I only have to play? I give Morrissey credit for one thing, helping to bring back the New York Dolls to people's attention, and that's it. I don't. His lyrics are too mopey and fey, and I enjoy a good gay British thing, but it's too. For me. Speaking of gay British, Adele, taking a break. I don't know. My segues, I haven't had to make a segue for 2 weeks.
I'm turning around.
You're looking behind your back.
Because I'm like, did I miss something? Is there a gay Brit behind me?
Yeah, behind me. There's
you're like, speaking of gay Brits, Adele.
Oh my God, hey. I haven't had to do a segue for 2 weeks. I'm sorry.
I love overly emotional Adele. She's my favorite. When she's on stage, like, guys, I've spent the last 7 years building it. I love this, actually. I spent the last 7 years building a really great new life for myself, and I would actually like to go live it.
Perfect. Boom.
I mean,
perfect.
Who can argue with that? She said,
Nothing.
These last 3+ years of me doing shows, I have loved it. I've loved seeing your faces. I've loved singing these songs for you, but now I need to go. She was like, don't expect a record. I'm not recording a record. You're not getting a record from me in a long time, and you're not going to see me in a long time.
Boom. Well, she's not an every year record person anyway, so it's not like that's going to, you know what? And all these people, like, why do they have to make announcements? Because they're performers. This is what they do, because this is social media, because the media. I am like 100%. You have your boyfriend, fiance, husband, whatever Rich Paul is at that point. You have actively said you want to have another baby. Good. I begrudge her nothing. This is not like a Lizzo who's facing legal charges and has to pretend go into the timeout table. This is a woman at the top of her career who did a residency at the height of COVID, who faced a lot of agita, but go, good, fine. I mean, I don't mean go, good, fine, like I don't like her.
No,
I mean, good.
Go live your life. She's the type of artist who writes records about her life. And you got to live some life before you can just try to crank out a record. And speaking of Lizzo, who just said she's taking a gap year, I think Lizzo's legal shit will be resolved if it's not already. And the truth of the matter is, she played in people's faces so much that she needs to go take a gap year. It's like, you
Right.
know what? Because I think Lizzo will absolutely have a long career, but you have to understand when you've hit the wall with people, you have to let them miss you so that when you come back, it feels fresh and you're past something. With Adele, like you said, Adele was never an album a year person anyway. And honestly, she's in her mid-30s. She's engaged. She probably wants to get married. She really has been talking about wanting to have another kid. She comes from a different mindset when it comes to wealth and fame. She's talked about how she loves being a singer. She hates the celebrity part. So She's never been someone who's like, look at me coming out of this restaurant. Look at me drunk falling out someplace. So I appreciate her being like, when I come back to the U.S., because she's got to finish the Vegas dates, because remember when she got sick and she had to cancel a chunk of dates. So they got moved to this fall, finish those dates, and be done.
Yeah, be done. In time for the holidays, right?
I also appreciate right now that Taylor Swift has been quiet, right? Like she finished for that whole second half of the tour in Europe. We did not really see her, and then she's on.
You weren't in Rhode Island when I was.
Right, but that's press trying to follow her. That's not. When her and Travis first got together and we were getting the whole, here's the girlfriend, we're coming out of restaurant. The thing that celebrities do when you want to be seen, because you don't have to be seen. You know what I mean? Right. You know this. You can go out to eat. There are places that they go where you will never be seen. And she's got to finish the second leg of this U.S. leg that starts in October, ends in December. And I think she'll go a little quiet and be someplace. Listen, the kids have to learn the art of when to give it and when to let people miss you.
Here's what I think. I mean, Taylor, I think we'll take a break, and then I think right before the election, come out with something major and make an endorsement. I really think she's going to do it. I think at this point, well, only because Trump keeps trashing her.
Well, after he put the fake AI endorsement of her up on
that's
his
what I'm
site,
saying. I think at some point you don't want to poke that bear because Taylor Swift has more money than God. I really do think, I don't think celebrity endorsements mean anything. I think it's ridiculous for people to expect certain artists to expect, but I do think, and then we can talk about this at a later time, but I do think that'll be her. She'll lay low and then come back with that, and I think that'll be tied up. You want to take a thing and then, or you want to?
No, keep going. I know when I'm going to take the break.
Okay. So we're talking about fans and insanity. So Chappell Roan, who is like literally, I mean, this is just, I mean, oh my God. I mean, it's like, we keep saying this is the success story, honestly, I think, of the year, without bar none. I mean, just bar none. And
this is like from the ground up.
Amazing.
From the fans, a slow burn, over a year-old album. It's almost like back in the day when they used to have artist development, right? When you would give an artist you wouldn't just consider a record a failure when you put it out and it didn't immediately explode. You would let something build. But this seems like this build has really come organically.
No, and it's real, and it's very organically. Well, she is young, and she is, she has issued statements about fans being very intrusive. And a lot of people have been like, oh, you're famous. This is what comes with it. No. What comes with being famous is fans appreciating your music, buying your records, going to your concerts, etc. What does not come with being famous is people stalking you. And I think we're in a different age. This is not somebody like, you see them on the street and you wave. And so this is a very aggressive, very sinister form of fandom. And I think she's well within her rights to say, I love performing, I love singing, I love being an artist, I love my fans. But if I'm out somewhere and you're coming at me, I think she has every right to say no. She's entitled. She's not a star 24 hours a day.
Well,
when she's off stage, she's whatever her name is.
Yeah. Let me just say this as someone who's worked with and around some very famous artists. It is very interesting to see how people think that they have a right to people. They think that they absolutely have a right to everything. You have fans who the artists know because they come to every show. You see them at every show. You see them if you do a signing, they'll be at every signing. If you have a product and you're launching someplace, you will see them there. They're your hardcore fans. And there's a line with that, right? It's like, okay, I get it. And they really feel a connection to you. But you don't have a right to people as a human being. And everyone actually has a right to tell you no. And it seems like these days with some of these fans, they feel like, but I bought your record. You are supposed to take a picture with me if I ask you for a picture. You're supposed to give me an autograph. You know what? People have real lives. They could be having a really shitty day. There could be something wrong with their family, things that you don't know. It's like you don't have a right to people. You have a right to love their art. They're giving this art to the world. You have an absolute right to relate to that art, and it could really mean something to you and personal and hit you in your spot and make you feel something. But you do not have a right to people. And I could see for this young woman how suddenly, she's gone from playing clubs to now everywhere she goes in every festival, they've had to move her from a side stage to a main stage, and literally hundreds of thousands of people are showing up. There is no rule book for how to handle suddenly, oh my God, I'm famous in a way that I can't comprehend, and people are relating to what I'm doing so much that they think that they have a right to me. And it is unnerving and it is scary because some of these, now, like especially with the social media age, people can get directly to you with DMs and all of those things. The only thing I can say about that is have a social media manager on your team and just let them run all your social media and don't look at it. And it's hard to tell that to young people because they were born into it.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, I think that she seems, Chappell, I mean, your point is 100%, but I do think that this is fans have always been like needy and fanatics. Okay, there's a difference between being a fan and a fanatic. And I do think the immediacy, you're right, of social media and the fact that she's relatable, the fact that she's an openly queer artist, it's giving sort of like, showing voice and stuff. But she is still, at the end of the day, whatever her government name is, she is not that, she's allowed to go have a meal. She's allowed to not feel, when someone is saying at the height of, at a point of their career that anybody would love, you're freaking me out. I think that's fair. And we, you and I kind of go, oh, these kids today, they need to toughen up. I think that if you're saying you're freaking me out, I think you have good reason to feel freaked out if it's coming at you, especially when, who the hell could have seen this coming? Right. This came out of nowhere. This is not a Charli XCX this is her 5th album and has been building. This is not a Taylor Swift who's been doing it all. This is a girl that had a record deal, got dropped by her label, and word of mouth has made her what she is today. So I think, people need to just back off because it can get dangerous.
No, it can get really dangerous. It can absolutely get dangerous. And people, when you're obsessed with somebody, and this young lady is saying, you guys are doing too much. You're crossing boundaries with me. She's allowed to have a boundary. Yeah. Because you love her record, love the record. Because you relate to it, that's great. But you don't have any right to her. She's a human being. All artists are human beings. Even the ones who play in our faces are human beings. But it's really interesting to see how people say and do things and they think that it's okay. And it's like, you know what? When have we lost the humanity to realize that just because someone can stand on stage and sing to 100,000 people doesn't mean that they have feelings, and doesn't mean that you think that you're the only one who wants a picture. You don't think you're the only one who wants an autograph. If you get those things, great. There are artists who stop and sign sign autographs. And then there's sometimes you might not be able to put the smiley face on. You've had a bad show. Something's going on in your life. You have the obligation. I have to go on stage and do this show, but I'm not in the mood to stop and take photos. That doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a bitch or an asshole.
And it's not obligatory. It's not part of the job. I mean, that's why I'm saying when people say they have to. No, they don't. Their job is to perform.
And your job as a fan is to either like it or not. And if you relate to the record, that's great, but you don't have a right to the person who's singing.
Right.
And on that note, we're going to take a break and be right back. And we're back.
Okay, so you know what? All right, so I'm going to give you a history of the Ramones' feud with Linda Cummings.
Please do, because
I knew that you didn't know any of this.
I was
shit.
like,
I know you were like, who?
Isn't everybody like dead? Why are y'all still fighting?
Yes, they are also dead. All right, so all of the original members of the Ramones are deceased. Marky Ramone, who was the second drummer, who is basically considered an original member, even though he wasn't an original member, but he's on all their major records, is still alive. All right, so Joey Ramone, the late Joey Ramone's brother, Mickey Lee, that's his stage name, is embroiled in a legal battle with Linda Cummings Ramone. Linda Cummings was married to Johnny Ramone. Johnny Ramone is, by all accounts, was the worst Ramone. If Johnny Ramone were alive today, he would be a Trump supporter. I say this without a moment's hesitation because he liked George Steinbrenner. How many people do you know defended George Steinbrenner? No,
Nobody.
Seriously.
Nobody.
Right?
Right.
And he was, all right. Joey and John, and listen, there is no Ramones without Joey. There is no Ramones without Johnny. I love the Ramones. Okay. First off, fun fact, Ramones is not their actual last name. We'll get to that part. That's a stage name. All right. So Joey Ramone used to go out with Linda, who is the widow of Johnny Ramone. Johnny, she broke up with Joey and ended up going out with Johnny, from which we get the great song, The KKK Took My Baby Away, which is what Joey wrote about Linda leaving him for Johnny. You want to talk about bands that didn't get along with each other? This was a band that did not get along with each other. The KKK took my baby away. Anyway.
Like, what?
It's true. Yeah, it's true. All right. So Linda had been married to Johnny until he passed away. Blah, 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 blah. They have been embroiled. Mickey Lee, there are two heirs to the estate now. Mickey Lee and Linda. So Mickey Lee is suing because he says he didn't have to call her an ex-groupie, though I guess she kind of is, but she dated two members of the same band. That doesn't make her a groupie, but that's fine. Saying that she's using the Ramones as a promotional thing. Her name is not Linda Ramone. It's nobody's last name is Ramone. Okay, so that's number one. She's mad at him because she says that he went behind her back to do that Ramones biography, which is probably that Netflix Pete Davidson thing where he's playing Joey Ramone, which is terrible casting, but that's neither here. No, it's terrible.
Well, you see why I'm looking at you like...
Yeah, I know. They're both tall and pale. Other than that, I can't figure out.
That sounds like horrible casting.
No, it does sound like horrible casting. I know. I don't know who could play Joey, though. I mean, having met Joey, he was very sweet and kind of childlike. And Pete has that. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so they are suing each other, and he's basically saying that it's trademark law. She cannot keep promoting herself and using the Ramone trademark as a way of furthering and lining her own pockets. So there. They each control half of the band's holding company. It still makes money, but and the merch alone, I thought I needed to. I said, you know what? Courtney is not going to know about the KKK. Took my. No, I know. It's what I'm here for. I'm here for this. This is why you need white middle-aged friends or senior citizen friends who love the Ramones. Anyway, so that's that. But I'm on team Mickey on this one.
I'm on team whoever was actually in the band.
None of them were. But Mickey Lee. It's the estate of the Ramones holding company. She's using the Ramones. He's saying that she's infringing on trademark. That's what it is. I mean, part of it. So none of them are in the band. They're all dead, except for Marky, who I saw at the Fairway.
So wait, who's Mickey Lee again then?
Joey Ramone's brother.
So he was never in the band.
No.
Okay, this fight's ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Well, hold on. Well, I know that. I hear you. I'm just saying the fight is ridiculous, especially what has she done that he is taking offense to? What is the thing that she's done?
She's trademark violation by using the name Ramon as a marketing. It's trademark. She is not Ramon.
But she's put that in her name. Is that what he's saying?
Yes.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah, she bills herself.
Is she selling something? That's where I'm confused. Like, what is she doing? She's selling.
She's doing merchandising. She's doing tours. She's doing all sorts of stuff.
Under Linda Ramone, or is she doing it under the Ramones? Because she owns
Linda Ramone as Linda Ramone representing. Yeah,
got it.
She's like, I posted the story.
Yeah.
She's basically using the Ramone trademark and legacy to promote her own stuff. And what he's saying is, no, you don't have a right to that because it wasn't, you're the widow, but I'm the brother.
She doesn't have a right to that. That right. I agree with him.
And we still have to figure out, and they just don't, they don't like each other either. But the KKK.
No one likes each other.
No, everybody loved Dee Dee, the KKK, but they're all dead except for Marky. But Marky doesn't have, I don't know. That's all I gotta say. I'm on Team Joey. When it comes to anything, I'm on Team Joey because he was so sweet. And that's all I want to say about Joey Ramone. All right. What is this? I'm looking. Oh, no, I just lost it. You have the rundown. Oh, okay. All right. So today, the estate of Isaac Hayes is in court trying to get an injunction against the Trump campaign using Hold On, I'm Coming. Also, Isaac Hayes and David Porter wrote that too, so I'm assuming it's both people. All right. So this year alone, we've had Tom Petty's estate telling Trump, back the fuck up. We've had Jack White, ABBA telling him to back the fuck up. Rihanna, Jack White, the Foo Fighter, Beyonce, everybody. So obviously, Trump may talk about the elite and the gays and the immigrants and the women, but when it comes to campaign music, he doesn't want his white trash fans like Lee Greenwood and Kid Rock to provide the music.
Yeah, I'm like, you've got these people who like you. Why aren't you playing their music?
Because nobody cares.
Right. I'm like, why aren't you playing any of their music?
I mean, bomb, did it, bomb, the bang, a bang, right? Can't you just, what was that one Kid Rock song that was really good? But that was a good song.
Yeah.
Bomb, diddy, bomb, diddy, bang, diddy, bang, biggie, diddy. And he's got a bunch of knucklehead rappers who like him.
Right.
Ice Cube likes him.
He's not playing any of that.
Why don't you play No Vaseline when you walk out?
I mean, he's not playing any of that.
Right. So he's playing all the music of all the types of people that he claims he doesn't want to be part of his administration, that he claims they're not real Americans, the immigrants, the women's, the blacks, the gays. We'll play their music. So he likes Scandinavian, so I guess that's why he's playing ABBA, right? Because they're good looking, the Scandinavian.
And they're like, we want you to stop.
Well, here's the thing I don't. All right, so you do have to have like almost like publishing rights in a way to play music, right? At rallies and stuff like that.
I want to say because it's seen as being used in a political sense, you kind of do need some sort of permission. I think.
Right, but is it? Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying is it like almost like a mechanical? Like you have to have publishing rights. So every time you play the song, it's not just like I'm playing the song at a party. It's like I'm playing the song at an event, and the song being played infers that you're endorsing that person.
Right.
That's the issue, right?
Yep.
So how does it go? The party would have to go. The candidate would have to go to like BMI or ASCAP, or do they go direct to the artist?
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think it's both, and which is why when he used "Freedom," the Beyonce song that she's giving Kamala Harris permission to use, I believe a cease and desist was sent, just like with Rihanna when it was like, "Don't stop the music," and cease and desist was sent, like, "Stop using my shit." I don't endorse this.
Can they? I mean, can they see some? Trump.
Well, this is what I'm going to say, because maybe they can, because a lot of these things. It'd be one thing, I think, if stuff wasn't televised and broadcast someplace, but because a lot of these rallies are live streamed and broadcast, I think that's what changes when we start talking about the usage. Because now it's not just like, all right, you're playing my song at some rally, but it's not on TV anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. But if you're now streaming this and you're playing my music, that changes, I believe, the rights to everything.
That makes sense. Yeah, because then it's something that can be reposted and over again.
All of the things.
Mean, you know, Trump is honey badger. He don't care. He's going to keep doing this. It makes him look good. It's just hilarious, though, that there has never been an artist, as long as I can remember, that has said, yes, Donald Trump, use my music. Every single person is like, stop.
And the artists that support him, he doesn't seem to want to use their music.
Because he wants people to vote for him.
Like, who those two rap guys, the ones we never heard of, Shiesty something and somebody.
Well,
why aren't you playing their records?
Their music, right. Well, he plays that stupid One Lean Greenwood song at every, I'm proud to be an American. And then he probably plays like a Travis Tritt song. Is Travis Tritt dead? Is he the one that died? Or he's very sick? I'm not saying that to be funny. I forget whether he passed away or not.
Hold on, let me look it up.
All right. Well, anyway, the point is that he's not playing the people who, I guess Scott Baio doesn't have a record. All right. But he doesn't play anybody that anybody wants to hear. He plays all the liberal elite music because guess what? We make better music than you do. Play a Morrissey song. There you go. Play a Morrissey song.
Exactly.
Play
a Sexy Red song. Why aren't you playing any of those people who seem
Sexy
to like
Red
you?
likes you. Right, yeah. Play one of her songs. It'll be
Lil Wayne, doesn't Lil Wayne like him? Why aren't you playing Lil Wayne songs?
Play exactly. There's so many people that you could play, but no. I think he does this for the attention, too. He knows he's going to play.
Of course he does.
Yes. But I hope, anyway, Isaac Hayes' family he's in court today about that. I can't keep up with this Martin Shkreli, former Farmer Bob. What's his name?
Farmer
Bob works too. So this is the guy, right? The disgustingly rich, venal, horrible human being who raised the prices on all this medication that is life-saving medication because he's a horrible pig. And then he went to prison. He didn't go to jail. He went to prison for it. But he had bought this Wu-Tang record that only existed, like, there was one copy. Yeah.
And it wasn't like $4 million that he paid for it?
Something crazy. Mm-hmm. Like the gross national product of a small
And of course,
country.
when you have a person like that, what do? Make copies.
Right. Bless their heart. I know.
And distribute it.
I know. So he's out of jail, I guess, or prison. And so now the judge is saying he has to give it all back to Wu-Tang? I'm very confused as to what this case is about.
I'm so confused. First of all, I'm confused at why they did this one album, sold at auction. This douchebag guy buys it. Of course he's going to make copies of the thing that's not supposed to be copied and put them out there. The whole thing is weird. Like, sometimes when these headlines run across, I'm just like, I feel like we just live in a trash bag.
Well, we can ignore them too.
Yeah, I feel like we live in a trash bag.
I just don't understand. This just seems like a continuous sort of thing in the record. Has anyone actually heard this record? Is it any good?
No, but that's the whole... Okay, wasn't there an event one time where they played the record or something?
I think so, yeah. This sounds familiar.
Here's the thing. Remember, it's not streaming anywhere. It's not supposed to be available. It's supposed to be one copy.
Right. People have too much time on their hands.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, this guy's... this is just more boys with toys, part 2, Boys... All right, so my personal Jesus. Now, he's somebody, I love Bryan Ferry, even though his politics are terrible, but I look the other way.
Are his politics terrible?
Yeah, he's a conservative, I think, and his kids are fox hunters, and I don't think he's... I look the other way with certain people.
Because
he doesn't talk about
absolutely.
it. I do with him. I mean, Eric Clapton, I will not
I've had to warn people on our page when I post about Bryan Ferry, I'm like, you know that is Amy's husband.
Well, he's many people's husband too.
I'm like, you need to, like, you cannot come for him. That's her man.
No. But I am well aware of his shortcomings. But it's not like it's an Eric Clapton who's a douche and makes terrible music. This is politically, he may not be my cup of tea, but the music's good. Anyway, he has a new single out. It's his first original music in 10 years because he has a retrospective of all his solo work, which is a wonderful. So it's with the singer Amelia Barrett, who I've never worked with or heard of. I've never worked with her or heard of. Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross, and it's really good. You know, the one thing that's missing on this single is
Bryan Ferry.
Bryan Ferry. Where the hell is he? Where is he on this single? I mean, he is firmly now. We joke around. He is firmly in the Charles Aznavour talk soup part of his career. Bless his heart, because I love him. And the first time I saw him, I had seen him a couple times solo, but the first time I saw him solo where his voice was a little off, I was like, oh, his voice is a little off. It's a little husky. Okay. Second time, I'm like, voice is still a little off. I think we can firmly say now that, bless his heart, the man's voice is
gone.
Gone. Yeah, gone. That said, you know how you work around, you know what the workaround for a gone voice is?
Stop
atmospheric. No. It's atmospheric. He makes an atmospheric single. It's a great single. It's a really cool single, and it's an interesting collaboration. He is on the single. It's just that it's very.
He's talking.
You would never know if someone, but. I break for all things Bryan Ferry, and he thought I was very nice and smart when he met me. So that's really, that's all I care about. And
I mean, you wore a dress when they were being inducted into the Rock and RollAll of Fame because
I didn't just wear a dress.
And you put on makeup.
I didn't just wear a dress.
You were see me. You put on a dress and makeup.
No. Well, it's a black tie thing. You're supposed to look like a human being. But I didn't just put on makeup, my friend. I had my friend Annie come over to my house to do my makeup. I know how to put on makeup.
And then you didn't even get close to him.
Close. I was nowhere near him. But the point is that I had someone come to my house and do my makeup. So it was, and now I wasn't wearing like a cute. I told you when I interviewed him, I changed my outfit twice and laid out 5 pairs of earrings, took pictures of them, and sent them to Candace and my then idiot boyfriend and said, which one should I wear? And like in the off chance that Bryan Ferry would see me at the Oriental Mandarin Hotel in his fabulous suite and go,
be like, I know I usually like models, but lady,
right, but
it's
you, middle-aged woman with an encyclopedic knowledge of Session Man and the music of Nile Rodgers, I want. Stretch marks, schmetch marks. I want you. Yeah, I know. I'm working. I have new obsessions when it comes to boys now. I'm kind of done. But yeah, so it's a great single. It's called Star, but it's kind of the Where's Waldo of Bryan Ferry.
Right. You're like, is that him?
Is that him?
Is that him? I think that's him.
I think that's him. I think that's him. Wait. Yeah, that's him.
Hilarious.
Why don't you hand this on a little more serious note? We shouldn't be. Fat Man Scoop passed away.
I mean,
I was in Connecticut. I was 3 towns away from where he was.
Collapsed on stage.
Horrible.
People are seeing him, them administering CPR to him on stage.
Oh, God. Awful.
That's just, first, that guy, really, talk about a party starter, talking about an iconic voice, just yelling chants. I mean, you put any Fat Man Scoop record on, and it just, to this day, turns up the party. Generationally, too. It is like young, old, everything in between knows that voice. Especially in New York. If you've ever been to any kind of club or party in New York, when you all know, what's that zodiac sign? What's your zodiac? You know what I mean? It's just like,
he was the hype man's hype man.
You got $1 million bill, put your hands up. I mean, all of the things, Single ladies, make noise.
But it's always, and again, adding to the tragedy of, young.
53 years old.
I know. It's like
53 years old.
That's way too young. No matter what you are, no matter what you do, but that's just, so it's very, very sad. It's just very sad. And industries, like a rapper's rapper type of thing,
And everybody loved him.
Yeah.
He's one of those people that everybody loved.
Yeah, like an Ed Lover or somebody like that, where it was just like, so very, very sad indeed. There's some good music coming out now. What are you listening to?
Well,
it's the fall. It's fall music season.
It is. Let me just say this. I don't know if most people don't realize this. I'm still on a lot of promo lists and stuff, so I get a lot of music. I don't stream music. I think that a lot of the streaming services, I don't like the politics of it. I don't like that artists and writers aren't making money from it, and these tech companies are. But I have signed up for Qobuz, which, is a service that's been around, but now they're kind of really making a push into the scene to be a little bit bigger. And I love that they have also an editorial sort of arm to it, and it's high-res music, and you can download from there even if you're not and you want to own music and you don't need a subscription to it. And I have been playing around on it. The sound has been great, and I have been obsessed ever since the Olympics with Aya Nakamura. And I keep listening to her.
Yay!
And I've been on Qobuz listening to her
I'm patting myself on
for weeks. I just, that's all I've been listening to.
Well, good.
I've been listening to her album. She's fucking great.
She's great.
She's great.
I'm not going to act like I had heard the name but not heard of her. And the first time I actually really read about her was with all the controversy about her being in the Olympics. So, no, she's great. She's really, really great. And good. I'm glad you're loving her. She's really great. Great singer, great production. I know it goes against your policy of like fabulous production, useless vocals. She can actually sing, but no, she's great. I'm glad you like her. Good. Anything else you're listening to?
Literally, it has been Aya Nakamura.
Well, that's good.
That's all I keep listening to. It's really.
Has she ever played? She must have played the States before.
I don't think she's played the States.
She will then.
I think that now she's, after the Olympics, it's been sort of like a more of an international acknowledgement of her. It's like Milin. Milin has never played the States. You know what I mean?
But Aya Nakamura is the biggest selling.
Well, streaming.
I think biggest streaming French singing artist in the world. I think Stromae had that title. Now it's her in the non-French speaking world. Well, I have been listening to Doechie's record. Is that?
I really like that record.
I really like it too.
Yeah. It's her mixtape.
It's fun.
It is fun. She's
fun.
Really talented. She is really talented.
And I had seen the name for years and didn't really. I saw you posted about her. I listened to. She's part of the TDE family. Yep. There's a playfulness about her. She's smart. I like how she's sort of having. She sort of has like there's humor and there's politics. It's a little bit of everything, which I enjoy. I enjoy when women rappers can show more than one facet, or women artists in general can show more than one facet. They don't have to be the sex bomb. They don't have to be angry political. She's a little of everything. She's very, very talented. She's a good singer, so I'm enjoying that. And Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, the Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds have a new album out called Wild God. It is
well-reviewed. It's very well-reviewed.
Well, yeah. I mean, all his... I mean, it's... This is going to sound funny. It's... By Nick Cave standards, it's an upbeat record. It is certainly not... But it's much more... The vocals are... His stuff has been very different since he's been collaborating more with Warren Ellis, who's in the group. But the vocals, the subject matter is a little... It's, we all know what the tragedies he has been through. This is sort of like very much a light at the end of a very, very long tunnel. There's a song with auto-tune, which is really weird. A friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, went to a listening thing he had a couple of weeks ago at National Sawdust. And, he was doing an interview.
Is that where we saw Netta Cherry?
Yeah. So imagine that tiny venue with seats. People having to sit next to each other, and Nick Cave is being interviewed by someone from the Graham Museum, and then they play the album. You know how you've been in this situation where you're listening to the record with the artist sitting right there? That's uncomfortable. Anyway, it's a really great record, and he's going to be touring. He'll be playing arenas. He's someone who's only gotten bigger as he's gotten older. So he sounds great. I
discovered him during the Murder Ballads period when he did the tune with Kylie Minogue, and that's what brought me to Nick Cave.
With Kylie Minogue and with PJ Harvey too, right? He did a song with PJ Harvey and Kylie, not together. Yeah. No, do
you know how much I love PJ Harvey? I fucking love PJ Harvey.
I've never gotten her.
I
know.
PJ Harvey.
Nick Cave also has problematic politics, but we're going to leave that.
You know,
they all do.
I was about to say, a lot of people's
white man of a certain age.
A lot of people's heroes have problematic politics.
Well, he's not my hero. That's for sure.
But a lot of people's heroes have
they have
problematic politics.
They're problematic. You get to a certain age.
You know what? People are human, and they have their shit. You know.
Yeah, they get to a certain age, and people get cranky. And as long as you're not the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think it's all okay.
They still irritate the shit out of you, which is hilarious to me. They're horrible. Hilarious to me. That whenever they come up, you're like, I can't with them. I can't.
I can't. All right. Do you want to take us out of here, Dreamboat?
You know what it is, kids.
Oh, look at you. He leaned back to get ready for his presentation. I love it.
It was a lean back. You know what it is, kids. We're back. It's the fall. It's crisp in New York. Meanwhile, I'm jealous of all my friends on the West Coast because they're about to have a heat wave, and y'all know, I love the heat. I need more heat. I'm not into this shit.
It'll be hot next week. Have you not lived in New York your entire life?
Yeah, we'll see. Because when I woke up this morning, it was 57 degrees.
Beautiful.
No, that's horrendous. It's horrendous. So anyway, we're back. You guys are you guys are hilarious on our Facebook. If you guys are not part of our show page, which is ImmaLetYouFinish, all one word, on Facebook. You should, because you're very opinionated. We love it. We love it when people, you just have a lot of opinions.
Yeah, we like that.
We do. We actually really do like that.
As long as you behave yourself and don't say mean things about each other.
And you've been better. We've had to, listen, I don't.
We had our come to Jesus moment.
And I'm not a person we don't block easily. So if you still listen to the show and you're one of the people who've been blocked, you know what you did. You know what you did. So, be nice. Be nice. And we don't do racism on our page. And with that, you know what the deal is. Come to us every day, every week.
We do sexism and homophobia, but not racism.
You know what I mean? It's like that dude did way too much. He did way too much. Too much. It's like, I can say what I want. I'm a grown man. You don't get to shut me down on that.
Anything.
No, you did the cut it. I didn't say his name, and I'm not going to say his name. But if you're still listening, you did way too much. And on that note, you know what it is. You listen to us every week on the Pantheon Podcast Network, which is now the Pantheon Podcast Network. It's a music and social commentary and sports shows on the network. And I would like to think that we had a little bit to do with the social commentary part.
Can we take a little... Hey, guys, we don't like to, a little, I'm doing shoulder, but I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you that.
Because Peter and Christian, I was like, there's no way we're so different from everything. And they were like, we like what you do. I was like, you do? You like us? And they took us on. And
we
now,
love you guys.
Yeah, and it's been amazing. And now it's like there are more shows with sort of a social commentary, but it still falls in the space, and they have sports programs on it. Listen, you guys...
And their whole thing with the Struts, with the band The Struts, that is so cool.
If you are not following Pantheon as a whole, you need to, because you will discover, I'm telling you, you will, especially if you're a music lover, social lover, and now sports, you will absolutely find your new favorite podcast.
For sure.
Video and audio. So... Thank you. We'll see you next week. And
bye, guys.
Remember to share, tell a friend, and be nice to each other. And if you're in a heat wave, I'm jealous. We'll see you next week. Bye.